Hello again, and welcome to another game of Shadows of Austin, Changeling the Lost Second Edition. Today we are at the Freehold, and the Freehold is in quite the buzz. Word is going around that something had happened earlier in the week at Crosshairs. No one is sure what. The rumor goes from the sighting of a loyalist all the way up to the continuing belief that the Autumn Monarch's crown is beginning to waver along with his power and hold over the season. Word is also getting around that maybe Spring is starting to lose their grip and control on their own season and what that could mean once the seasons shift through winter. And with that, there are members who have filed into the grand hall of the Freehold. They're standing around. You can recognize many of the individuals present here, ranging from some of the more famous ones, such as Nicolas Diego or Penelope Swartz. There's Madame Laurent present, and Xavier Masters, who's both enigmatic and unusual. The players are currently gathered on the base below together, and thus our scene begins.
Charlemagne is there, talking with a few people of his court. Not still for sporting that devil may care smile and just as adorable as you can be. It doesn't seem that he seems to be bothered by anything or anyone in particular. Individuals that come up to him with a so-called rumor, it's more or less politely debunked and say rumors are rumors, and pretty much working the room.
Travis Smith actually comes up to his monarch. Dude, bro, we are dealing with some real issues here. Like, can you believe what's going on?
It's been quiet, so yeah, I'm up for a little excitement.
Heard what happened at Crosshairs, man. Disrespect.
The disrespect was real, but it should be noted that individuals should be made well aware of what's going on, and we'll take proper precautions once more information is gathered.
Over to the right in the room, Ava Mabel comes walking up to the group of Autumn courtiers, sans the Autumn King, who is expected to be making an entrance shortly. She's of, as you can see, a slight build, but on her is a array of potions and unguents and poultices, all being carried around with a satchel over one arm, carrying even more in the boxy chest-like storage structure. She has a set of kind of almost aviator-like goggles on her forehead, but today they're currently down on her face as she's looking around the room, the lenses focusing and unfocusing as she does so. Her main focus right now is on Rourke as she holds up one of the vials. Work's done. I got more of the materials we're going to be needing in the next few days. Why am I out of my lab again?
Rourke he has a smile that is definitely a customer service smile as he just says, "We have to discuss what happened at the Springcourt safe house, remember?"
Right. The place. Bullseye. Right. Oh, Mel, I'm glad you're here.
Oh, hi, Eva. How are you?
Busy, little insane, little off my game today. I had to come out in the middle of an experiment because apparently the spring, and then she looks over noticing the monarch. Monarch is having some what's the word we're looking for? Minor inconveniences?
Well, I wouldn't worry too much about that. After all, you guys have me.
Right. So our season is fine. Our court is good. We're the ruling season. I don't think there's any problem.
That's a good way to look at it.
She looks over, spotting Lillian at that point. Lillian?
Oh, hello, Ava. How are you?
What brings you out of your um that thing that usually web?
She'll give a very, very soft smile and say, well, there are very many things that people are saying about the events of earlier this week, and I was mostly hoping that I could help dispel any rumors.
Behind the scenes, Brendan Loons is behind a large curtain, standing with the monarch before he heads out. Him being the ranking member of the Autumn Court at present, looks over. Your Highness, Your Majesty. So, are you ready?
Sorry, I spaced for a minute. Who was he directing that to?
You.
Okay, sorry, I'm still in not quite awake land. Cage will smile. And then for my sake, could you please repeat what he said again? Brain not function, right?
Your Highness, Your Majesty, are you ready?
Always ready.
A break-in at one of the facilities of the kingdom. How interesting. I look forward to meeting the individual should they be caught. Shall I make the announcement that you are ready?
Yes.
By your will, he says with a wide grin, walking out. And as he comes out from behind the curtain, adjusts his glasses so, pulls back his back, straightens his tie. Citizens, members of the kingdom, I present to you your Autumn Monarch. And he steps aside as the curtains part, and Cage Adams, king of the Court of Fear, is there in all his glory.
Cage, standing, tall, dressed in a fairly decent suit, walks out. The red and yellow leaves that kind of materialize and drift behind him as if wings laying flat against his back before vanishing. The smell of spice and smoke waft from around him. He will nod to everybody, politely bow his head to Charlemagne, and then go and take a seat at the monarch's throne.
Charlemagne will accept the polite incline of his head and return it as a sign of mutual respect. Um, Being that he would be the next ranking person, Charlemagne would respectfully approach the throne.
he can hear someone mutter something as he passes. It would be the winter courtier known as Theodore Winchester,
Mhm.
muttering something under his breath. I can't believe this pomp and circumstance.
He will look over to Charlemagne. So, tell me, what has been going on? I've heard rumors, but I'd like to hear more.
Uh, Around, we'll say, a few hundred hours ago, there was a incident at Crosshairs where it was a normal night of festivities. Myself, Lillian, and Rook were in attendance. Um, it started off as a rather uneventful night. However, somewhere during the middle of the night, a contract was activated in the second floor of Crosshairs. I went to approach the individual because certain things are to be expected and not to alert anyone of the potential nature of the assembled. When I went to approach said individual,
Test, test. Can you hear me?
oh,
I think
sorry, I
so,
was
but I'm not
responding to
sure.
folks. Somebody
It-
came in.
Okay, we
Sorry.
good.
I'm good. So,
yeah, I. Sorry.
that was a really awkward pause. I apologize.
Yeah.
There was the sound of a contract activating, a sound of gold coins dropping to the floor. Naturally, I went to not necessarily apprehend, but just have a few strong words with the individual in question. However, the individual broke all decorum and broke out into a chase, broke out into a run across the rafters. Lillian was in quick pursuit, and Rook, I believe, showed up soon after, also in pursuit. Those members of your court should be commended for their acts of assisting with this matter as a show of my gratitude. I've extended a goodwill in their favor. What was surprising was the fact that the individual in question broke into the hedge. She seemed surprised that I followed after her through and was very much so willing to give up the chase. However, the individual was not affiliated with any of the seasonal courts.
Oh.
Their mantle was something I've never seen before.
A gasp goes through the entire crowd. You hear murmurs, privateer, loyalist. It could be anyone.
What did the mantle resemble? And he'll kind of like turn his head so one of the eyes is narrowed at you. It's kind of more curious
It
look on his
was
face.
it was more the, if I could remember properly, something that resembled coins, something falling. It was odd.
Nods.
The moment
Oh, wow.
Charlemagne finishes speaking, everyone in the room can hear it. It sounds like coins clattering down steps and landing in the well. It's there for a second, cuts through all the murmuring in the room, and then
Charlemagne will snap his fingers immediately. That.
and then the ring picks up again,
And Cage will
and the
turn
coin.
his head the other way and stand. Like that, you say?
Exactly like that.
Mel rises up to her feet,
So
staring in the direction of the sound.
The individual is incredibly capable, as I won't consider myself a slouch when it comes to combat. But the person is indeed credible and capable.
As soon as he
Well, then.
finishes, the crowd is murmuring, and the murmuring has gotten to a dull roar.
So I'm gonna try this. Where's the 1 second? There. I'm gonna attempt kenning roll.
Does anyone else want to make a kenning roll? If yes, please put a Y in my group chat. For those who want to make a kenning roll, what you do is you roll your clarity rating. All the undamaged boxes, which for most of you, hopefully all of you, is currently all your boxes. Remember, if you have at least 6 or more boxes and they are undamaged, you get a +2 bonus to any perception-based rolls, unless you have acute senses. And then instead of that, you get your weird rating added on.
Spiffy. So I have.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a question. How often does willpower refresh in this game? Do we know yet?
Once per, you get 1 per day, and then anything else you have for like needles and threads.
Okay. Thank you.
And if you do a needle and thread where you get it back, just keep it in track.
So we would get +2 to our kenning roll.
If you're at 6 or better and no damaged boxes. So
Yes.
in order, we're going to go from through it. Austin, if you'll give me a roll.
So I have 6 undamaged boxes, and so that +2 would apply here.
Yes. So you'd roll 6
All right.
+2, because the +2 goes to any perception-based roll you make.
Okay.
You make, and yes, it costs a willpower. So
Okay.
you got 3 successes. All right.
3
I need Heather.
Okay. So I have acute senses. So
You would replace the +2 bonus with whatever your weird is.
okay, so that is 6 dice for me.
Next, I need Anthony, Tim, all right, and while you're waiting on that, then let's have the moose.
Oh, he's not gonna roll kenning.
Oh, he isn't going to roll kidding.
No, but can
'cause
I
you
make
said
a?
so I thought you were. All right, in that case, then I believe that leaves Heather. No, Heather did roll. So that leaves just Tim. Keep in mind, in this system, if you get at least 1 success, you're successful, so you'll get stuff. But if you get more successes, you're going to get more description.
Damn.
It's all right. It happens.
Uh, Tim, would you like to turn that into a uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Into
Dramatic
a
failure?
dramatic failure?
Not yet.
Damn. Okay, so for those of you who got a single success, you can pinpoint that there is something or someone magical behind you and way up. And which, keep in mind, if it's not being actively hidden, that means it clearly must be something in the open behind you and way up. If you are someone who got 3 successes, then at that point in time, you know that what you're sensing happens to be a mantle of some kind. You are certain this is a mantle.
Charlemagne's eyes dart upwards.
Mel whirls around and glances up.
Cage, just he doesn't look up, but there is a now, no need to be rude.
For those who look up, there is a young woman in the rafters of the castle. A place where not many people other than winter courtiers might be found. Below the crenels and in the shadows, standing up there in the open, is this young woman with flowers growing in her hair. She stands there, legs crossed, leaning backwards against the wall, smiling. That didn't take you any time at all.
And
No.
that would be suspect number 1.
Suspect, she calls back. Her voice is oddly soft in your ears, as if it wasn't traveling any distance at all.
Now, come on down and let's have a polite conversation.
Let's make a deal. I agree to come down. You agree not to bite.
I will not bite you.
And what of your court? And your... She holds up her fingers and does air quotes as she speaks. Citizens?
Charlemagne flashes him a glance like, you gonna speak for me? Like,
I will honor the agreement not to bite.
He will look at Charlemagne.
hmm.
No biting.
I will promise not to bite, but I will promise I will be friendly,
Theodore,
approachable.
the moment that's said, Theodore cocks his shotgun. Like hell, I'm going to do that.
What what court is Theodore again?
Winter.
No open He will look up at the one talking. No open hostilities for no open hostilities.
Theodore looks back over. He has this. He has a look of rage that subsides into a quiet look of just gritting teeth and trying to remain calm.
Might I remind you, Autumn Monarch, that this man had no regard for your citizens or anyone else, and openly displayed contracts that could have notified any one of our enemies, Huntsman included.
That's why there are questions to be asked.
Then I
There's to be
be
discussed, and we need information first. And if things prove
inadequate.
hostile,
He grins.
openly, then things shall be handled in kind. But if we were to be rude to our guest, kind of snorts out the blowhole, that won't get us anywhere.
Theodore lowers the shotgun, finger off the trigger. The girl, though, still smiling, still looking a bit haughty, um, drops down from the rafters, her hands by her side to keep her skirt straight, lands with not even like a large impact, just a quiet.
And you are?
Seeing as I know who everyone here is, with some exceptions, she says, looking over towards Theodore, and then looking back at Cage. My name. She does a curtsy. Azuki Matsumoto.
Well then, what is her main?
Her main is a pretty girl with flowers in her hair.
Okay.
Her clothes are most certainly made of something other than earthly silk and cotton, decked in jewels that upon close now that you see her up close are actually coins. The mask of the clothing has long since faded upon hitting the ground, and instead of looking like a skirt and a top, it looks like a short dress instead.
Oh, silly question. Do y'all see what I was asking in the side chat?
Yes, I have. I was waiting
Okay.
until she got closer to you. Right now, all you guys can tell, flowers in her hair looks fairly more human than normal.
Okay. Well then. So, I've never seen a mantle quite like yours before. What court do you hail from?
As she walks forward, the sound intensifies but remains more subtle than it was before. It's like those coins jangling enticingly in your ears. Those who have market sense or Hobkin feel something of a calling from it almost, a fascination, not bordering on anything obsessive, but definitely piquing one's interest and curiosity. You can almost taste copper on the tongue as she gets even closer. The smell of worn leather and filling one's nose. And she stops, tilts her head to the side. And now that she's close enough, anyone who wants to try to identify kith and seeming, you will have an easy time of it if you would like to make a intelligence plus occult roll. Anything related to changeling, fairies, kith, seeming is applicable.
Folklore? I'm sorry, does folklore apply? I don't know if I can hear anyone, but I'll go with no for right now.
You're here, Tim.
Okay.
I hear you.
Oh, I accidentally rolled in the extra dice roller, but I got 3 successes.
I will not be rolling. Oh, I think we lost our SD.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Yep.
I think he'll
Yep.
be back in a bit.
Yeah.
Austin, I just wanted to say, you stop this woman and catch him like a good old fashioned Brooklyn beatdown.
That was about to happen.
Oh yeah, no. Absolutely. I chose my words very specifically.
We ain't gonna bite.
Bite.
Said nothing about catching these hands.
Nope. Ain't say nothing about hands, feet, guns. I mentioned teeth.
That's an awesome ass picture, though. I like it.
I didn't think he was actually gonna use gang orca.
Yeah, I was.
I was like, oh shit. I'm shooken.
Nice. Hope EST didn't lose power or have a blackout.
Hopefully not.
No.
Mr. ST, are you there?
Aha! The EST
Ah.
has returned.
Yes, that hotel right now. So my internet did the 24-hour changeover thing where I had to re-log in.
Goddamn.
So,
Gotcha.
all right.
Still
I'm
have
back.
seam rolls.
Let's see. We have seeming rolls. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2.
Well, do you still
Um,
have scene control?
Yeah,
I,
I have full control. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Because some,
I accidentally made mine an extra dice roller. If you want me to re-roll, I can, but I did get 3 successes if you want it to stand.
I'd like it to be re-rolled in the main one, just for continuity's sake.
I
Anthony, if you'd like, you can take a dramatic failure, but you've already gotten your XP for the month for 1.
I'll just take the failure. It's fine.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Well, I tried. For
You
those who
did?
got even for those who even got a single success, she is clearly a fairest. For those who at least got 2 successes, you know she's a fairest flowering. For those who get 3 successes, she fairest flowering, and you know that her mantle is strong. Like it is, whatever mantle this is, it is extremely powerful. It is on par with the 2 monarchs present, actually. And she just stands there,
oh,
leaning to the side. Her head tilted,
less-
her hips cocked, arms crossed.
One of the things Cage said, you might not have heard it, was, I've never seen a mantle quite like yours before. What court do you hail from?
The new courts. The ones that'll come to save all of you. Okay, it's not nearly so dramatic, she says, waving her left hand dismissively.
Aw, I like a little drama and flair. Please, continue.
Charlemagne will outstretch his hand, picking a rose from like his audible seeming. I won't bite much. And offer it to her. Continue.
We thought this was the perfect time to make our presence known. If you would like to learn more, I'm more than happy to talk to you at the markets. Consider it neutral territory.
Perception, empathy,
What are you trying to detect from her?
sincerity. Is this the person that's about to do, a general? This is a trap. Is she like legit a huntsman that's using contracts? Like,
Well, if she was a huntsman, you would not have gotten a seeming and kith off of her. You would have gotten huntsman. So you know she's not a huntsman at least. But yes,
Fair
you
enough.
can make a wits plus empathy roll to try to read, as you asked, are her intentions honest? So
That I'm also gonna do that.
anyone else who would like to, you are free to make the roll.
I think Lillian's gonna ask something I see, but she'll probably raise her hand because this is monarch shit.
it's not. We don't actually have a perception roll. So which is it? Wits.
Wits plus empathy.
Wits plus empathy. Okay.
And if I ever ask you guys to roll just straight perception, that's always composure plus wits plus all the crazy
Gotcha.
stuff some of you guys
Would
have.
this be considered a perception-based roll?
This would be considered a perception-based roll, yes.
Okay, so I rolled 4 dice, I got 0 successes, but because I have 6 or more clarity and no damage in it, I would get +2.
Plus 2 dice, yes.
Alright, so I'm gonna roll an additional 2 dice.
Does my empathy spec of reading faces apply?
Yes.
Right.
Apparently, I don't read shit.
I got 3 successes.
Really? Oh.
You guys can't read her, but Rourke knows that she is. You're not 100% sure what the truth is, but she's sincere about her sentence.
Okay.
You do get sincerity from her. What in there that she is sincere about, you don't know, but you do get sincerity.
He's just going to move to like the front of the autumn courtier, like the group of autumn courtiers, but he's not going to say anything. He's just going to move to the front, cross his arms, and watch her.
Lillian is pretty sure that she is sincere. You wouldn't be willing to stake your life on it, but you're pretty sure.
Okay.
Rourke, you'd be willing to bet your life on it.
Why go so far when there's a perfectly open and sorry, brain. There's a perfectly open and acceptable audience here. We're willing to politely listen to what you have to say. And not many people are willing to travel into the markets.
I'm eager for your response.
The offer's been made to anyone who's willing to make the risk. Take the journey. Come to the markets.
Charlemagne puts up 2 fingers as if to say that's strike 2.
Oh.
Does Lillian look eager?
I did declare she kind of hates. And she does look eager.
And Cagel motion towards Lillian. And that
Okay.
and that just waves over with a hand.
Yep. She approaches, and she looks at I remember her surname was Matsumoto. What was her first name? Ayaki?
No, Azuki.
Azuki, my bad. Yeah, so Lillian is gonna look at her and ask, you declared the need for neutral territory. Are these your new courts declaring hostilities against us? Or possible hostilities against us?
She's smiling, but the smile becomes the laugh. Hostilities? Considering who was chasing after whom,
Ran for
I
me.
think the hostilities...
Let's not mince words. You ran for me. I walked towards you.
And then, inside the thorns, you decided it was time to begin a fight. A fight that you couldn't... She looks him up and down. Bring to resolution?
Eyebrow up.
You should probably stop Charlemagne because he's about to... Really? Right now?
Rourke is just going to step like in front, like he's just going to step in between her and Charlemagne, facing her, because he trusts Charlemagne not to hit him in the back. So
because Rourke didn't throw that knife into his back.
Right?
Right.
And he's just going to say, unless you have a reason to antagonize our spring monarch, please watch your comments. And he smiles, a very polite smile. But his eyes, like, if she wants to do that empathy roll, his eyes are like, don't fuck with us, honey.
Mel Mella's gonna get right up next to Charlemagne. She doesn't make a move toward him or to grab him or anything like that, but she is super close, like
Yeah.
right in his personal space.
Lillian hasn't really moved. She's not about to let Miss Matsumoto throw her off her game quite that easy.
One last thing, I'll give the floor to you, Tim. I say this once. For Lillian and the rest of my court, I'm willing to put my life down. You are an unknown threat. I pursued you. Had I wanted to end your life, we would not be talking.
This is great.
Bother. And just like that's all you get out of Cage. Just oh bother.
This is great.
Isn't it? It's fantastic.
It's fucking lovely.
King Adams, your court, your fellow monarchs. I'm surprised that, well, good King Charlemagne over there isn't a member of the, oh, what do you call it? The Court of Wrath?
Don't confuse the two. You speak in ignorance.
She'll tilt her head to the side. King Adams, I come here as a diplomat and a herald.
And you would know that even diplomats are held responsible for their words.
They are, she says,
Kate,
pointing at him.
Look over at Charlemagne. And he's going to hold up a finger as if to say, that's strike one.
Oh, shit!
That actually gets Miss Suzuki to hand her right hand over her mouth in actual, like her eyes blinking in what looks like actual shock. If you would like to make a with sympathy.
Okay.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Do. Where is wits?
What is Rourke good for? Absolutely wits.
For real though, look at that.
Damn. Damn. You guys are beating the odds.
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
this is
I
just
forgot my perception bonus.
This is just stretching credulity at this point. Is Mel going to make a roll, or is she just gonna let it go?
Nope, she's letting it go.
Total of 3. It's a total of 3 because I keep forgetting my that perception bonus.
Oh, can I make it?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
You are penalized though before you roll by 1 die, however, because you're in the heat of the moment, and so reading her is going to be a little harder.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So just
And
1 die down.
My all of my actions were directed at Charlemagne.
Oh,
yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right, for all of you with 2 successes, you're certain she was actually caught by surprise by Cage giving the strike warning to Charlemagne.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so what you're saying? Oh, sorry.
For those with 3 successes, or more, you're going to recognize that there's an element of respect there, actually, within that surprise. She will lower her hands, put them behind her back primly, rocking on her heels and waiting for the monarch to speak now that he's finished with his moment.
Charlemagne.
Monarch.
I believe best if you were to maybe get a quick bite to eat for a few minutes? You seem a bit rustled.
Is that a direct
We have
order?
we have a diplomat here from a foreign court. Just a minute or two. Take a breath. Clear your mind.
Realizing that he hasn't actually let himself go like that in quite some time, he will. He'll step back.
And now he will turn his
Yeah.
attention towards the diplomat.
I think it's pretty clear why we need neutral territory. Maybe some goblin provided refreshments.
Not to question you, but to question you. We don't know you. We don't really know your court. We don't know where you herald from, and we don't know your connections. Going to a place that you name seems imprudent.
Then let me make it clear. I am not the clever one that they sent. I'm not the most eloquent, as you can see, she says, motioning around. I'm the general.
You're the general.
If you don't want to come, you don't have to come. To me, it hardly matters. After all, she kind of looks up at his crown. We all obey a higher power.
He will bring his hands together in front of his face and kind of rest his what little chin he has on them. I see. I am very curious to find out more. But as Charlemagne put it out, so why would you in? He stops. He looks up above, kind of looking at the rafters and various portcullis and holes. What contract was it? Was it you who used the contract at the Crosshairs nightclub?
She looks confused.
Simple question.
I would assume that your intelligence operatives or subjects would have relayed that information. Of course, I used a contract as soon as I got to my getaway, the location across the bar when I was going to make my escape. Your courtiers seemed really eager to meet me, but I was not perhaps as presentable enough for such an occasion.
He'll nod.
And of course, There's a reason they were never able to touch me once we were into the thorns.
The thorns are wild.
Better to travel in safety before you cross over.
Oh, I understand. And he'll lean back. I am. He will look over towards Charlemagne. Are you okay?
Perfectly fine.
Okay. Now, looking back at the diplomat. As with things the way we handle them, there was the use of contracts can garner the attention of. And he makes wild, like just fluttering hand motions. Why would you take such a risk in one of the known safe havens of motions to Charlemagne? Court.
Oh, that one's easy. I told you. They were in pursuit of me, so as soon as I got to my exit, of course I was going to give myself a little edge.
Of course.
After all, I had seen them utilizing techniques of their own in their pursuit of me.
Rourke
It seemed
just
looks
Sorry.
over.
I assumed your rules allowed for such actions.
Rourke just raises his hand.
He'll gesture to Rourke.
I do believe it was not a contract she invoked in the bar, but an effect of her mantle. Perhaps that is where the confusion is coming from.
Oh. He'll nod. Okay. Well. I would like to know more. And with that, he will stand up. I cannot speak for anybody else. But you have my interest.
She'll do another curtsy. A very polite one at that. Her smile has returned back to its sly grin. Then, I'll see you in the goblin markets. And she looks around the crowd. And anyone is welcome. After all, the markets are, as they say, always open. And with that, she will turn around and calmly begin walking out of the room.
Mel will follow after her. Not like she's stalking her, but just to make sure that she gets out safely.
Lillian is going to look over to Cage after she's properly left and say, Your Majesty, with your permission, I'd like to accompany you to the markets. would like to know more about these new courts that she is proposing.
Cage will nod.
She will bow upon being given permission. Thank you, Your Majesty.
And he will look to those gathered. I will stop any of you from going to talk to them and see what information they have to share, what they have to offer. But if anybody goes, I want a full and detailed report. We need to understand these strange new presences. These strange mantles and what they... His eyes will dart kind of across the room. I would suggest not going alone, just because of the one, travel dangerous. 2, you never surprised, either by them or the goblins. And if anybody needs assistance, he smiles. Expertise.
Rourke is watching. He hasn't even like he's half turned, so he's half facing Cage, but he's still got his eyes where she left. He just is smiling.
Well then. I'm going to go find out what this is all about and what kind of shenanigans are afoot. Anybody want to join me?
Charlemagne will smile. Let's go.
Well then. Yep.
I take it that you guys are going. You guys want to go now to the market?
If you prefer to do it like in a later scene, I think we're okay with that. But
I'm super okay with that too.
Well, if anyone wants
Whatever.
to go to the market now, we can. If you guys would like to do it later, we also can do that. I have time, I have energy, and I have plot.
We might want to
I'm
be
good.
able. Should we get more people, because a lot of people showed up to this, like big plot. That's the only reason I'm saying sort of like hold off on like actually going to see if we can get more people there.
There are other hooks and elements coming into play for this that will be done throughout the week, so there is the opportunity for others. Do not fret.
Oh, I didn't want to exclude anyone. Then I'm fine with today.
Not
Yeah,
to mention, if there's some here who probably can't make next week's session, which is a
Me.
different plot. So, there you go.
Okay.
If everyone is going, then that means you guys are going to be introduced to what it's like to go through the hedge. Now, is anyone here not want to go through the hedge?
So the trods are more dangerous for me.
I have a question.
Yes.
Who all is going?
All
I
right,
think the whole
let me-
hangout. Sorry.
I will check in order to be sure then.
Okay.
In order from my left to right, Rourke.
You know, when Cage asks if anyone's going, he'll just say, "Why not? If we're going to walk into a probable trap, let's just make it as merry a party as possible. Maybe more of us will survive in that case."
Charlemagne.
He's going. He has to stand up for his court.
We lost to Tim. We lost to Lillian.
Do we have a Mel going?
I think in a group this size. Oh, let me check. I think in a group this size, Mel would go.
Okay. This is going to be interesting then. And that brings me to Potato. I thought if I said Potato, it might summon him back.
He'll
The
I'll,
advantage of
shoot
going.
him a message.
Okay. The good news is because you're going as a team, you guys can have someone who might have a great dice roll and be good at hedge diving, lead the team, and everyone else can provide teamwork bonuses. Or you could all just try to go individually and then roll individually.
That is not a wise idea.
Don't listen.
Listen, I know I'm channeling Summer right now, but listen, there's an extent.
All I'm saying is that are you going to listen to your ST who's kind and generous and understanding, or are you going to listen to the veteran hedge diver who is your king?
I'd rather listen to the hedge diver. It's kind of what he's built for.
This is probably going to be the saddest roll off I've ever seen then.
All right, so Lillian's internet kerfluffled on way back.
Okay. We will wait for that before we get into too much stuff. But one thing we're doing is if I assume Lily is coming along because Tim's coming back. So for a teamwork roll, you guys have to roll the exact same thing as your leader. And your successes become dice for your leader. Who are you guys going to nominate as the leader?
The actual hell diver.
Yeah, I will nominate our king.
Well, Rourke has the final vote because
I mean, he's not been in the hedge very often. He's gonna let the king take the lead. The one who's does this for a living.
In that case, King, which role are you going to take? Are we going to get there speedily using athletics? Are you going to be navigating with survival? And I would recommend taking your level 1 Trod because of the group you're bringing with you, rather than going through the thorns.
It will be speedily. Weird question. If I change to a size 15 critter, can they all ride me?
The unfortunate answer to this question is yes.
Excellent.
Riding on the Orca.
So are you going through the thorns then, or are you taking a Trod? The Trod would take longer. The thorns would be easier. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Well, because it's silly, we will be going through the thorns. On our way out of the freehold, we will hit the stable. I will pass by a one of the Fey mounts, and that is my loophole for Chrysalis.
I hope you can hear the sighing here.
I hear you looking at me.
No one in my venue is going to spin glamour. None of you want to spin glamour.
No,
Willpower,
why?
sure.
Wait. It was a
Yeah,
whole
and
section in the book dedicated to loopholes. Like,
because I spent a day talking to another ST about glamour and their dice spot system, only to find out so far in every scene you guys are just going to use your loopholes because they're that easy.
I actually can't use one of my loopholes. I'm gonna have to spin glamour.
That is a unique sound I hear. Happiness in
Because-
my voice.
Yeah, I
I
ain't
don't
gonna
have
front.
an enemy in this scene.
Okay, so that being said, are you so you guys have to make a Dex plus Athletics roll. Everyone but Austin at this point.
Well,
Okay.
I just want to throw something out there before we start
Yes.
doing crazy ass head shit.
Mhm.
Doesn't Safe Storage Solutions have like a fucking portal right into the marketplace?
Yes, but that ironically enough for Cage would be the not safest way to get you there. Going through the thorns is, and again, I can't believe I'm saying this, the safest way for Cage to lead you there. Because Cage is all kinds of wrong.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
See, the rest of you taking a trod is smart. Cage taking a trod is dumb, and I don't know how to like rationalize this.
You know what? It's fairy shit.
I got one
Austin,
success.
2.
Austin, look at all the successes there. You are getting 1, 2, so 3 plus 1 is, sorry, 1, 2, 3 plus 2 is 5. 5
Uh-huh.
plus 2 is 7. 7
Uh-huh.
plus 0. Okay. Would you like to make that a dramatic failure to make this harder for Austin?
I'll be right back.
You know what? I don't think so. Not this time.
Damn.
We're going into the hedge.
Why does no one want to do this in the hedge? Anyways, so 7 successes, which translates into 7 more dice. Austin, like you didn't have enough.
Right? So, I need a notepad, because 1 second.
Heather, why couldn't you have taken the dramatic failure? I could have added more successes required for him to get, but no, you want him to succeed.
I would like us all to I would very much like us all to succeed and get in safely and get out, and almost the only reason this is happening for Mel is because her king is a hedge diver.
So Matt, mathematically speaking, what is Austin's chance of success with the amount of dice he's throwing?
It's statistically 100% because he hit the curve. Because he gets a plus 7 dice, he gets an extra because his speed is double. If he uses his contracts, he can get speed up to double plus 20.
I am.
All right. Then you are at plus 12 dice total. You are immune to a fatigue with that one, plus 14. You have a plus 14 dice pool, thanks to these chuckle heads.
All right.
You can
so
call us
14,
chuckle fucks.
50,
We can
60,
call them.
17. So
Say again?
14 plus 4 is 18, plus 3 is 21, plus spec is 22. Give me a second. Where is that?
This is so many kinds of wrong. Like so many kinds of wrong.
And I'm gonna spend a willpower to make it rote.
So you okay, the dice bot will actually handle rote commands, as you recall. You saw the dice bot stuff,
Yeah.
I hope.
14, 15, 18. So 18, 19, 21, 22, 23. There. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23. So 23 rote. Now I just have to find the mechanic.
Yeah,
The- It's what, roll 23 rote? I wanna
it's
say?
let's see, roll 23. I think it's, and you don't have 9 again. It's just 10 again. So I think it's roll 23 rote. Yeah,
Okay.
from what I'm
Alright.
seeing.
Okay,
'Cause-
so changeling dice roller.
Yeah.
So roll 23 rote. I have
You got
So
8
8.
successes with 23 dice. You needed 1 success. So, just
I
to
get
give you an
exceptional
idea,
success.
yes, you can give yourself a positive condition if you want that you can use later, and if you use it, you'll get an XP. Is there a
Right.
positive condition you would like? I would recommend.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I recommend informed, because you can pick it with a use it on a relevant skill. I would say occult because you just went through the hedge.
Mhm.
And it allows you to treat a
I apologize. I'm back.
welcome back. If you fail, you earn a single success, and if you succeed, it automatically counts as an exceptional.
Okay, I'll take informed.
All right, you are now informed on occult. So if you make any occult rolls during this session, you succeed on 1 success. I mean, you exceptionally succeed on 1 success, and you succeed on a fail. You cannot dramatically fail this.
Hooray! So, yeah, that is. So yes, large hedge mount. Speed of 51. Through the thorns. We've gone to plaid.
You guys watch as you get on his steed back. He steps into the hedge, and to everyone, for Cage, it's a long journey that you're running, but it's as if time is standing still as you pass through the thorns, past the briar wolves, past the huntsmen, past the thorns themselves, and you come out the other side. To everyone else, he just led you into the thorns and just stepped out again, as if they weren't even there. You guys only feel as if seconds had passed, and you're at the market. Normally, a journey that can take hours. The market itself is the promissory note. Kind of has that old world village theme to it. And by old world, I literally mean like the fairy tales, where they say a long, long time ago in a kingdom far, far away, with the tiles on the roofs, buildings made of concrete, stalls and markets with ratty rags and worn pavilions, people crowding around, hawking wares, calling out to you, goblins of all kinds, fingers pointed in your general direction. But through it all, you can see the young woman with her dress woven of coins instead of jewels, cowrie shells instead of beads, ahead of you. Somehow, they're ahead of you, despite the movements of your king, walking towards a tavern that some of you might recognize as being Harper Lee's. The tavern itself, it looks like an open book with a pop-up tavern standing there.
Cage will just kind of snort as the kind of cue for everybody to get off.
Step off.
Mel
Steps
hops
off.
down.
And he will return to his normal form.
Once he's back to his normal form, Goblin pushing a cart of fruits goes by, waves at him. Hi, Cage.
Hey, anything good today?
Always something good. Got a soul to sell?
Not today.
What about that one? He says, motioning at Rourke. Or that one. He says, motioning at Mel.
Mel, Mel,
Not for sale today.
Mel will make an effort at that point to make sure that her hat is kind of covering her face and try to keep her hair covering her horns.
I'm just going to smile at the goblin that said that.
Shrugs and just keeps going on. You know the deal. Sales tomorrow.
Yup. And he will look over to Miss Matsumoto. We're here.
Well, when you look over, she's just walked all the way into the tavern.
Into the tavern, Cage goes.
Does everyone else follow?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sticking next to the Helldiver thing.
All right. As majority hit rules, you guys walk into the tavern. Inside is the smell of fresh ink, aged parchment mixed with newly printed text. It is heavenly. And that's just the coffee. Harper Lee is over in a corner talking and laughing with what looks like some sort of Zotar kind of fortune-telling machine. Those who are familiar with the markets recognize Glasscard, the local goblin contract vendor. He'll give you anything for a price. Matsumoto is actually heading towards a back table where you can see a gentleman with a turban on his head and flames all over his body. It's as if he's made of fire here. His fingernails are a bluish shade of flame, while his eyebrows are like golden white fire dancing about. Next to him at the table is another individual, one who looks more relaxed, calm, wearing an impeccable business suit. You're having trouble making out his kith and seeming due to the burning guy who, if you had to put your finger on it, might be an elemental. I mean, he is a giant roiling ball of fire after all. There are others at the table, talking, laughing, a frog-like creature with 3 eyes on his head. It is an interesting sight, not one that you guys were expecting. For those who have been to the markets, it's just another day. The moment Matsumoto goes over to him, she whispers something into the fiery one's ears. He nods, motions for the others to go. They do so, and then she primly takes a position next to him as if she's going to stand there at attention. Then her shoulders slouch. She leans against the wall, and she puts her hands behind her head, staring up at the ceiling, looking for all the world bored.
Does the flaming one have what could be considered a crown?
Yes. Yes, he does. The turban on his head, which is covered in jewels and script.
Hmm.
And if you look carefully at the jewels, within is reflected letters, writing, words. As you guys approach the table, which I assume you guys do, or if you want, you can stand there. You'll notice that they that he also has some sort of effect that you've come to determine is some foreign mantle, though his isn't coins clattering down steps into water. From here, you hear the distant sounds of market bells. Those who have been to the goblin markets a lot recognize those peals and chimes as the sounds of the stall keepers. And you can feel the sensation of clasped hands holding fast to one another, crawling up your skin.
Cage will smile and approach the table.
Approach the table, standing next to Cage.
What is the current ambient time of day?
Um, it's in the hedge. You never know. But the market's time, as you can well tell, is somewhere probably close to uh, late morning, almost noon.
And then he will look at them. And he'll nod his head. Good morning.
I'm surprised. I wasn't expecting you to show up so soon. I was thinking it was going to be more incentive needed. But here you are, my fellow king. Uh, King Adams, right?
Reach out and shake his hands. I will offer him a single rose. That's proper etiquette.
He'll look at it, kind of surprised.
Take it. It's a gift. No hostilities.
I like you. I like you. But I don't take things. Don't like things in my hands. He says, looking over at Azuki. Azuki, if you'd be so kind to our guests. Azuki rolls her eyes, sighs. Her formality from earlier much further removed. She'll
Soak that
smile,
right up.
takes that from his hand. He doesn't like to be handed things, and goes back to where she was leaning against the wall.
Nods. We all have our idiosyncrasies, And he'll turn to the monarch. Well, we were given a lot of information, and we weren't given enough.
Please,
So this
please,
is
before we
20 of
come
us.
down to business, do you mind introducing your friends here?
Oh, of course. He will motion to Charlemagne. This is Charlemagne, the previous spring monarch. Motion to Rourke. This is Rourke. He is a member of my court. Motions to Mel. Mel, a member of my court. Motions to... Where'd Lillian go? Motions to Lillian, a member of my court.
Upon being referred to, she bows to this pretty clear monarch, and yeah.
Out of everyone in the group, everyone can notice that the girl that Azuki's formality is, as you can tell, non-existent at this point. But she looks over at all of them, and she looks down at the what you're assuming is perhaps her monarch. Better be careful. There are tempers, as you predicted. Hey, I sent you. Of course there's going to be tempers. Ah, so, how you doing? He says, looking over at Rourke and winking.
Gotta pop AFK for a second.
Does Rourke pick up on that?
Sorry, I completely missed it. What
Oh,
happened?
Oh, after talking with Azuki, he looks over at Rourke and goes, so, how you doing? He says with a wink.
Rourke's just going to smile and let his air of menace merit do the speaking for him. He's just going to smile and tilt his head to the side.
I see. He stops and then looks finally really looks at Charlemagne, looks him up and down. Kinda lingering.
Can I help you, handsome?
I like you. We should talk later.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't like be-handed things, but I make exceptions for my friends.
Charlemagne will he will sort of, I assume you accept handshakes then.
For men to men, I always am willing to shake hands, he says, extending a hand.
Extends his gift of his hand. He'll shake it.
As a side, I'm kind of out of filler for a second. I'm just waiting for Austin's
I'm
return.
back.
Welcome back. So he looks back over at Cage and he's like, so, what can I do you for?
I was told if I wanted to learn more, here's the place to be.
What do you want in particular? Oh, wait. Let's get you a drink. Goes and motions for Azuki to go get a drink for them. She gives him a curtsy and then walks off to go grab drinks. So you want to get down to business already? Great. You're gonna have to make a deal with me.
A deal, you say?
Eyes go up.
May I have a seat?
By all
Gesturing.
means.
In a seat. And he will sit down directly across from him. Thank you. So, a deal, you say?
Just a minor one. We can call it an oath.
Kind of purses his lips, a little squinty-eyed. I appreciate your upfront and forwardness in what it is and not trying to be tricksy about it. What are the terms?
You swear that you and none of yours, he says, motioning at the others, cause any harm while we're having these negotiations in this place. And I swear that me and mine don't do the same. Peaceable, simple. And if we do, then the other one gets to run the other through.
Define harm.
Physical, emotional, or mental. I forget about it.
Oh no, these things are very specific. I wouldn't dare try to work my way around someone, nor would I like to be worked around. And he'll look back at the group.
Charlemagne will
looking
nod
at
his head.
Charlemagne.
I'll be on my best behavior to know.
Looks over at Rourke.
He just nods, still smiling at the dude with his head tilted to the side.
Mel?
It is agreeable.
Lillian?
Out of character, Cage is pretty much asking if he's cool to make an oath, right? If that's cool to everybody.
And
If
do you
we're-
agree to the terms?
Term set forth by the oath, so nobody's gonna go ham and kill him.
Pretty much.
Lillian says, I would be open to swearing. I am open to swearing to peace, yes, but I still am not sure of which court His Majesty's crown represents.
All in good time. If you're willing to swear. He says, sticking a hand out across the cage.
Peaceable, amenable. And if you find yourselves getting or feeling ways, please go have a drink and calm down. And then Cage will. So, no violence. This is clarifying out of character. No violence, no physical harm, no emotional harm.
No, he made it clear. Emotional and mental are on the table. All you have to do is swear no physical harm.
All right. So no physical harm.
Yep.
For how long?
Till you guys agree it's done.
I have a question on this oath, Your Majesty.
Oh, ask away.
Does an individual breaking this oath correspondingly break the oath for every other party involved in it?
Nah, it's just going to be between you and, well, he says, motioning at Cage, and me. One of our subordinates breaks it. Well, we suffer the consequences.
He looks at everybody. So the oath is between, and then he'll look back at the gentleman. The oath is between you and I. Does not bind anybody else.
But
But
we're
if they break it, you stab me, or I stab you.
yep.
Next question. With what?
This, he says, putting a cold iron knife on the table.
He runs his tongue over his teeth very slowly. Remind me of the mechanical effects of cold iron in this edition.
Aggravated damage negates all contracts, negates all. If they're wearing token, token armor or any sort of token, it destroys that token instantaneously. So that won't even get in the way. It can't be affected by contracts. Cannot be affected by powers. Nothing in a phase arsenal can stop it.
He'll look back at the group. He'll look at the knife. He'll look at the gentleman with the turban. And this is valid until the conversation today is over.
Till we both agree that we're done talking.
I'm not keen on that. I'm not keen on that.
You're good. Until one of us walks out that door.
No touching unless consensual.
I like your term. Deal.
He'll shake his hand.
Spins a glamour. The deal is struck. The drinks come and are placed before everyone. She serves Charlemagne last and serves Lillian first.
Ooh, can I make a socialized roll to see whether or not that was like a statement or something?
Wits. It would actually be a wits plus socialize, and anyone can make it. But if you're Japanese, you don't take a -2 equipment penalty to very unfamiliar culture. So I guess Lillian isn't penalized. If you'd like to make the rolls,
got-
if you
Sure. Changing dice roller. I got 2 dice. Well, 2 dice
What
after
the-
penalty.
I got 2 successes.
How is Rourke so good at everything except stealth when he has a stealth contract?
You don't need to roll stealth. That's why he's good at stealth.
Is this a perception roll?
This would be a perception. That's why I did wits. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Then I'm going to roll my other 2. It is so weird typing at dice as opposed to /roll.
I know,
Same.
right?
2 plus 3 is 5.
Oh, damn!
Holy shit biscuits.
The Japanese girl really knows her Japanese.
2 successes.
All right. Everyone who got a single success knows a slight was made.
Okay.
Those of you with 3 successes knows that a slight was made and has something to do with the order of drinks. Those with 5 successes pick a conditioned. Let me suggest for you inspired, because you feel very smart about this, maybe. And it will turn it into 3 successes needed for an exceptional when you blow this on a roll. And you also regain a willpower when you make your next skill roll.
Okay.
That's hot.
Okay. For Lillian, you serve oldest to you know it's a Japanese culture thing. You serve the oldest to the youngest. And to do otherwise is to deny someone their age and experience.
Ooh, damn. So to basically summarize, so your boy gets it. We basically just got called children.
Mm-hmm.
No, the oldest one got called a child by this.
Okay.
And the oldest in this
So,
case being the one with the highest mantle just got the biggest insult.
E.
He doesn't even respond to it.
Considering I got an exceptional, is that a grave insult, or is that just like a middle finger equivalent?
It would be the equivalent of sitting across the table from someone and flicking them off.
All right. Disrespectful, but it's not like fuck the plane you came in on, fuck them shoes.
No.
Good to
All
know.
right.
So their king nods. His boisterousness seems to fade a little bit, the energy draining out of himself. I hear that you're looking for information from what you said. What kind of information?
I was told if I wanted to know more about these strange new courts, that this was the place to come to.
You're asking about the courts. That's good. That's good. Thought you might have other questions, but all right.
Oh, I'm sure there will be others, but that's the first one.
First one. All right. 'Cause I like you. I'm from the Court of Favors.
Don't arch an eyebrow.
I'm the monarch, as that's kind of what you put down, right?
Yeah. So, and points to or gestures, not pointing at um the diplomat. Is she of the same court?
She was the last monarch of the Court of Coins.
Coins.
You're the seasonal courts, right? That's what you call
Yes.
yourselves. We're the market courts.
The market courts. Ooh. New to the area.
We're setting up shop.
I see.
Charlemagne's expression sort of eases that when he hears that.
But we
So are there?
Hmm?
Oh, continue.
we dabble in the mortal world and commerce too. So don't worry, he says, giving a wink to Charlemagne. We'll
Blow him a
see you
kiss.
around.
Blow him a kiss.
But you
So
want to
are there?
know if we had more.
Yes, yes. Are there more of these market courts? You called them?
We got a couple.
Yeah.
I mean, after all, you got other things you might need. You got the court of barter and the court of shady deals.
Oh, interesting. So, are you the current monarch for your whole market courts?
Same as the man standing before me. Hence the reason I was willing to cut a deal.
Ah, okay. Um, sorry, this is very new to me, so I'm gonna ask a lot of very basic questions. Do you all rotate the way we rotate?
Nah, we trade.
So you're in charge until somebody makes you an appropriate deal, at which point you relinquish your position as monarch to the other monarch?
Just like you guys wait for the seasons. We're a little bit more proactive.
He nods. He blinks, he nods. There's definitive sign of processing.
We were trying to be a little subtle and wait till we had something to offer. But some of your boys decided to slip into our territory, so to speak.
Eh, the way I understand it is one of yours did something in one of ours territory.
I forgot you guys prefer the physical boundaries rather than the market ones.
Little column A, little column B.
We consider all transactions to be our territory. My esteemed comrade here, she considers uh, deals in kind, as it were. You might say, with, 'with, 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 'with,
He will look over at her. You don't take Visa.
Before you continue, yes, he has been slipping in and out of multiple accents on purpose. I'm bad with accents, but he is also bad.
Gotcha.
No roll needed for that.
And he looks over towards Matsuki. You don't take Visa.
Credit is for losers. I only accept the highest of currency. Physical. You want to trade in credit? Talk to him. Hey,
Nods.
my credit's always good.
Well, I'm sure.
You know, that's how it works. That's how it rolls, right?
Well, I would expect a man of favors to have good credit. Borrowed cash returned and paid in kind.
See why I prefer the he does the shakes his own hands in front of him.
Yeah.
She would have asked you to put something priceless on the table that would be called currency. Cash, it's called cash.
He smiled. I like her humor.
I had a feeling that you two would hit it off pretty well. Both of you like this he motions out towards the door. Hedge stuff.
Strange and fascinating world out there.
He's always concerned about taking the thorns.
It's
I mean,
easier.
Right.
At least for me. Oh, do be careful. There's a mating pack of briar wolves out there, so
I eat briar wolves for breakfast, literally. They're like bacon. Zuki, dial it back a notch. You can see you're putting our guests ill at ease. She prefers to think of herself as a warrior trader. What's the term for that? Mercenary.
I see. I see. He nods.
So, do your esteemed guests have any questions for me? I'm more than happy to oblige.
He'll look back. Anybody any questions? This is the time to ask.
Will there be any more uninvited guests at my club?
Uninvited guests? I mean, you're operating in our territory. Or I should say her territory. Not a lot of favors traded when you're talking about physical buildings, you know?
My question still stands that I stand as a representative of my court, and I'm asking, will there be uses of contracts and other things present?
I'll let the little lady speak for herself. That would be a hard yes.
I'm sorry that's not going to work for the simple fact that we operate under a different rationale that we're supposed to keep a low profile. I can't have you endangering my court.
I can't have you endangering mine.
How am I endangering your court?
We operate on a different rationale. And, well, Ours involves certain transactions. She says, her left hand, her thumb and um, index and middle finger kind of rubbing together.
Mhm. You're being quite vague. Like, how am I besmirching your court?
Just like you're being vague.
I'm not being vague. I was very to the point.
You said that you operate under a different system. That's vague.
The system that I'm speaking of is the this is usually things that are common knowledge to most people of the seasonal courts, but it's under the agreement that those that are following under our specific contracts and deals be able to not alert, as he puts up his fingers in quotations, uninvited guests.
Well,
That
for us, it's a matter of passing coins and bills and various currency from person to person. Those deals are what keeps those uninvited guests away.
well, then we have to.
Secrecy is anathema.
Cage is going to raise his hand.
Yes, Cage.
We, looking towards the preview to Atsuki and the elemental, the favors monarch. The way our courts operate, we in the real world we set up physical locations that are safe spaces that are in line with our seasonal value. These areas provide safe haven away from those out there. These safe places are considered just shy of sacrosanct. We need to come to an agreement. Not now, mind you, but in the here, near soon, on how we can maintain these sacrosanct safe locations to keep us away from the watchful eyes.
I told you, I like you. So, negotiate. Not with me, with her. Uh, we kind of have a slightly different policy. We leave each court to kind of handle their transactions as they see fit.
So would we need to negotiate then? Each one of us with each one of your market court.
Depends on who's stepping on whose turf. I mean, as I said, none of my people are ever going to be in your nightclub. Well, maybe with the exception of myself. He says, again, looking at Charlemagne. But no one from my court has any reason to be there. If I win, it was because I was invited.
I can appreciate that.
Rourke raises a hand.
That's right.
He nods to him, but he says, "I have a question for you, Queen of Coins."
Ooh, I like that one.
his eyes have started glowing even brighter since they entered the nightclub, and or the tavern, I should say. And he just says, What is it about Charlemagne's club that makes you think that it is stepping on your territory, stepping on your court's turf, so to speak?
Coins, chain, sands. One of the most popular places in town. Make a deal. Transactions. Various pieces of currency. Hard cash.
You can go to every Walmart down the street and meet the same fact. What is it about his nightclub that you are being so obstinate about?
Volume.
And then he smiles and he says, Well, perhaps you should negotiate with the rightful owner of the club to come to an agreement to allow your
But he's not
couriers
the
to
owner
welcome
of-
there.
He's the mortal owner, not the owner of, let's say, the transactions themselves. Just like I would never claim to be owner of Spring or Desire.
Cage will nod.
I gotta make a composure roll.
That would be composure plus subterfuge if you're trying to hide something.
Oh no, it's a composure roll to keep his composure and not say what he wants to say.
That would be a resolve plus composure roll for me, please.
All right. He has a very specific thing he wants to say that could be very bad.
I'll let that resolve
Success.
first. But I think Lillian wants to try to solve this.
Say it or don't say it. It's up to you.
Since he got a success, he's not going to say it.
What Lillian will kind of say is, she'll say, if I may, my monarchs, I believe that since our visions of territory and our rationales in our courts are so different, it may require future talks in order to properly prevent such disagreements and misunderstandings.
Indeed, this is not a one meeting scenario. This is something that will take several meetings and information sharing and brokering to form a healthy relationship. So the last thing we need to be is confrontational with one another when there are far more dangerous things out there.
Especially since it looks like neither of us have, total say over the other's courts.
Indeed.
So
So in that
Mr.
we have similarities.
So, Mr. Adams, King Adams, Your Highness, why don't we set up a neutral territory?
I can acquiesce to this. A neutral territory. Easy to get to and less risky for those who aren't so skilled at navigating various locations.
I agree, especially since we bought some real estate recently, and this place is not going to be very neutral for long. Oh, I mean, the markets are open, but we're going to be next door neighbors. I don't think that's very neutral to ask you to come, next door to us, right?
And where did you recently purchased?
Like literally next door.
Ah, oh. Sorry, I thought you were being descriptive.
Coy.
Yes.
We should find a place in the human world. Somewhere,
Absolutely.
yeah, doesn't look weird when we all show up.
Where? Let me think.
We don't have to think about that now. Let's treat it more like a ongoing discussion.
We can table for now. That's fair.
We'll rotate our settings. But since you're the other peer of mine, monarch to monarch, why don't we hold it at our respective homes, if that sounds fair? We'll meet at your place once, we'll meet at my place once, and hopefully between the two we'll come to an arrangement.
Back and forth. I can.
Great.
No. My concern is, forgive me for being paranoid, but your ways are strange, new, and we don't want to take any actions that would violate particular cultural nuances. And we wouldn't want you to do the same at our home, because the worst thing be a slight in somebody's house, especially if they don't know they're making a slight.
That's a fair point. What if I made you an offer?
You can
As-
always make an offer. I can't guarantee I'll accept.
As long as you're king, I'll leave a diplomat with you. One who actually knows your customs and traditions.
All right. That puts you at a leg up on us.
That it does. But none of you know our traditions yet, so you'll have to learn them.
Exactly.
So we're a leg up until you guys finish your what do you call it, Azuki? Period of instruction. Yeah, that. I mean, it only seems fair. You don't want to, what's the phrase? Step on any of our toes, right?
And we don't want our toes stepped on either.
And that's why I'll send someone who has perhaps a bit more class than Ms. Matsumoto here.
She was very straightforward.
Well, if you want, I can send her to be a representative to your court.
I don't think the others would appreciate that.
Seems you and she get along. Sure, something can be worked out. Does your quiet friend there, the one with the hat, any questions? More than willing to answer.
I do have a question. The Queen of Coins mentioned. that you would be the ones to save us all.
He holds up a hand. You'll have to direct that question at her. I am of a different mind, but she
Oh.
likes her transactions.
What is your mindset then?
Who did she direct that at?
She directed that to the King of Favors.
My mindset: live and let live. I make a deal, you make a deal, we accept terms, we negotiate, and at the end of the day, a favor is nothing more than an investment. I'm making an investment on our relationship. That's my thought.
Cage will lean back.
Malin will turn. And what about you, Queen of Coins? Do you stand by your earlier statement?
Yes, I do.
That is your intention for coming to us.
It was. Why I accepted the mission in the first place. I mean, he can tell me till he's blue he wants me to do something, but there's always a transaction, even if you do it just because you're willing to wait for later to bring it up. In my case, it was the offer to proselytize.
And how exactly would you propose to make good on such an offer?
Join our courts. The market isn't something you have to be afraid of. It's not something that you have to fear or worry about. Because at the end of the day, a good deal is what's going to protect you from interlopers, intruders, things that are out there and go bump in the night.
But only if we join your courts, not if we, say, have an alliance with them.
She nods her head. Alliances are potent, but if you're looking for a one true way, a way that's guaranteed to work, making deals is the safest, surest, strongest bet, especially those deals that are sealed in whatever the currency of the land is.
I will take those things under advisement.
Let's just say one thing, something I'm willing to give away for free. You wouldn't trust it. Anything given for free could be a lie. It could be a trap. I'd assume it was a trap. I wasn't hurt at all that you thought that I was going to be leading you to your deaths. So, if you want something certain, you have to pay for it. You have to put something on the line.
Something cannot be gained without losing something of equal value.
And it just depends on your method of transaction.
Lillian's just gonna take a brief look to Mel because did she seriously just quote equivalent exchange?
Yes, she did.
Some of us believe that you can trade equivalent goods. Others believe that credit is where it's at. I think all of those are traps of the goblins. I pay my debt in fairy gold, hedge cowries, silver taken from the eyes of dead men, and pennies used across the river Styx. Treasures we can see, she says as she's spinning her fingers and you see a coin just come out of nowhere and it's gone again, that we can touch, and that even if you think it's gone and it's back in her palm, it's just a parlor trick because there's something physically there. The burning elemental, the king of favors, or you can believe whatever he does.
Thank you for the information, both of you.
And
Um,
yes,
so, if I were to understand, oh, all right. So, if I were to understand correctly, your guys, I'm unfamiliar with the terminology, so I am simply making do. Your economic courts are divided based upon the methods upon which humans make transactions. From favors, she'll nod to the King of Favors, to coins and cold hard cash. She'll nod over to the Queen of Coins, credit and debt to be paid back later, and physical goods.
there's one more. He says, rubbing his forehead. There's like one more court that you're missing, but it's kind of hard to define. How do you define something by the absence of something else? Like shady deals.
So you mean a court of poverty?
I like your girl. You said she's one of yours, right, King Adams?
He nods.
You should look into cultivating that one. She's got a good head on her shoulders.
I plan.
Uh, Azuki looks over at Cage. As you can see, we're different in many ways. Are we done yet? Fine, fine. I get that. We're done. I think my time of her services is up.
Well then, we shall be in contact. We shall come up with a good location to meet, a neutral territory, and work on discussing emissaries at another date. You
I
have
think we
yourself.
lost Anthony.
Ah, damn it.
Anyone can reach him? Because I wanted to give him the opportunity to ask any more questions if he had them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Reaching out.
Yeah, I just tried to. Tim,
Oh, my bad. Sorry, was I being spoken to?
yeah, I was just. Did you have anything else, or Rourke, or anyone?
I think Lillian's good for right now.
Okay.
Considering she was not corrected, she's going to keep calling them the economic courts.
Yeah.
Anthony, did you have anything else you wanted to ask him?
No, nothing.
All right. So the king will stand. You guys are nice people. We're gonna have to meet again sometime. And if you don't mind, I'll bid you what's the race? Adieu.
Well then. Negotiations for today are over then. Have yourself a wonderful night and morning, and we'll be in contact to further negotiations.
Sounds great to me, he says, grabbing the knife off the table and starting for the door with Azuki. And I'll be seeing you later, he says, pointing at Charlemagne before blowing him a mock kiss, and then the two are out the door, thus ending the oath. If you guys are good, I'm going to end the scene here, and you guys can have a social of what you do afterwards. We will assume you make it out of the hedge because you have cage.
All right. That sounds good to me.
All
Good
right,
to me.
and sounds good for everyone else. Tim, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right. In that case, and so our scene ends on our intrepid group, our ad hoc motley, standing around within the tavern, finishing their drinks. The scene fades out, leaving them there, and soon is on the city, the construction that's begun nearby, and the thorns. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching, and may everyone have a pleasant evening.